Fesgama, agus falchagu ar a villa, is Misha Joyce, no bridge, agus hami a fura cawn yn Glenmoriston, agus muscanshin hello, Rhys-an Lwciol achin, hami son insigaif, carsona aha and carsona toshek and project show. Okay, so welcome everybody. It's really lovely to see you here tonight. My name's Joyce Gilbert. My Gaelic name is Bríde. And before I get on to introducing you to the musicians tonight with us, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about the project that you're going to hear about this evening. Bimi a brain bechen Gaelic agus Severla anoch. Haniel mi homish nachol, hami vi a jonsaga Gaelic fat keir blianne, agus hami na shad a skrivig agus a levig. Ach hami as minikig guvele hokutumach a vi ansa Gaelic anoch. Okay, cum orsta bridge. So I'm going to speak mostly in English tonight, but a little bit of Gaelic, because I've been learning for about 4 years. And the last couple of years, I've hardly been speaking English, let alone Gaelic. So I'm not very strong with my spoken Gaelic. I'm much better with my written and my reading. But tonight, we're going to be learning about Gaelic culture of this area, and I think it's very important that I make an effort, even though I'm very nervous, and that I speak in a little bit of Gaelic. So, Marsin, nuair a rannig mi awn yn Glenmoriston och bliona arall, lorig mi siawn leor am sa fw awn yn Innernish. She story and song from Loch Ness side and tenna ma here, agus va I scribje le Alistair MacDonald. Agus sawn ach na Conor yn a hae. So when I arrived in Glenmoriston 8 years ago, when my partner took up a post with Trees for Life, I was mooching about in an old bookshop in Inverness, my favourite occupation, and I found this old book called Story and Song from Loch Ness Side by Alexander MacDonald. And he, I later found out, lived in Achnaconaran, which is just above Glenmoriston, beside Loch Ness. She laar glé insnach gegaan, ach haniel mi ga hukshan. So, really interesting book, but half of it was in Gaelic. And I found that a little bit frustrating. I was looking and thinking, right, I can read the English bit, but what's that Gaelic bit? So, sminach me, well, stocha sort of go Gaelic yonsakag. Maybe I can learn Gaelic. I'm in my 60s, but, you know, it might be possible. So, Raimi and Cursa Intrigi, le Salmorostig, agus an Urshan, Jaimi gan College, Sunny Linskianoch. So, I looked around and I found an online course with Salmorostig, the Gaelic College and Skye. So, I did that for a year, and then I took the plunge and decided I would go off and do the residential with the college on Skye itself. So, I think I was the oldest student at 63. There were a few other mature students, but everybody else was about 40 years younger than me and did a lot of partying as well, I seem to remember. And it was an amazing experience. Haniel Furista a vi namadanoch ariast wasn't easy being a student again. It wasn't easy sitting exams again. I'd forgotten all about that. But one of the most remarkable things about the course was I took the brave step to do the quite challenging module called An Lithricus, which was about Gaelic poetry and song, and about plays as well. But it really was quite mind-blowing, because when I came back and looked at story and song again, it wasn't that I had more Gaelic, because I did. It was more that I felt that the course had given me a bit of an insight into what the bardic tradition was. And so I was looking at this with completely different eyes. When I came back to the Glen, COVID had just hit. In fact, I couldn't finish my course at the college. I had to finish it online, which was a bit of a shame because I was just beginning to get a bit more confident in my speaking at that point. But I had longer to do the course. I took longer to do the module and Letricus and started to connect up to lots of other things that I was interested in, which wouldn't have been possible, I think, if I'd still been at the college. And it gave me the confidence to think perhaps I could start to do some research on this book. Now, I've actually got a research background through science, so I kind of know how to go about doing research. And I knew I didn't have the skills to be able to research this myself. But fortunately, I knew two people who did have the skills. So Monroe here, who is, well, he's a traditional musician, but he also has a passion for old manuscripts. So I knew he would be really interested in this project. And then Kate here, I've known Kate since she was a baby and watched her grow and just become accomplished in so many things, but of course a fluent Gaelic speaker as well. So the two of them I thought would be my dream team for this project, and they hadn't actually worked together before either, so that was quite an exciting thought too. So I then went to the community and said, would you like to do this research? Because it was important, it wasn't just my research, that it would be something that people in the community would want to do as well. And fortunately, people like Lynn and Carol Pritchard, who's not here this evening, were very enthusiastic about it. And so we were able to apply for money from SNH, Nature Scott, who were also very enthusiastic about the idea, especially as I had a feeling this would be linking to nature praise poems. So unfortunately, neither Kate nor Monroe could come and visit Glenmoriston at that time, but they did an absolutely brilliant job, which they'll tell you more about this evening, just doing that research and producing a absolutely wonderful report, which is on the table here to look at later. You won't be able to read it all this evening, but it is available online if anybody is interested. So they did the research, produced the report, and then the next stage was where I was involved because, again, no one could come to Glenmoriston, but I wanted to go out and visit some of the places that were in the songs because we'd begun to realise that this was actually like a Gaelic songline. It was mapping the whole of the Glen in song and in story in these songs. So I had the wonderful task during lockdown, where my world was Glenmoriston, of just going out almost every day and walking in the land and trying to look at it through the eyes of the bards. And sometimes I was just out with one verse of a poem, trying to work out where that was. And then what I did was I came back with a sort of photo diary and wrote up my thoughts and shared that through the community Facebook page. And that was really great because I got people responding to me saying, oh, I think my granny saw that, or how about this? And one of the people who responded a lot to me in Gaelic was Donald MacDonald, who's here tonight. And we shared a lot, and it encouraged me to kind of keep my Gaelic going as well, which was really lovely. So that was the next stage. And then this stage, the one where we would actually share with the community, that's been a long time coming. It's taken us almost 2 years to get to that point. But we also knew at that point we would need more musicians to come on board. And so we were very lucky to have Neil and Charlie join us at that stage. Actually, that was last summer, wasn't it? Because the music needed to be developed and worked on by a whole range of different people. And we were particularly delighted to have Charlie join us because this is where his family comes from. And so this is the music of his place. And I just found that was just a really lovely element to add to the project. So we have various things for you to look at the break today. We're going to have a reasonably long break so you get a chance to chat to people and also have a look at the song map and some of the other resources. But I'm now going to hand over to, I'm not used to using a mic, hand over to the musicians who will reveal the story and song of Glenmoriston. Thank you.